Alright, it's definitely dry now. I just wanted to make sure everything was dry so that I could turn it and touch it wherever I needed to touch it. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to bring in my paint palette. So all we're going to use for his name is red and black. There is no white, so I'm not even going to do a white base. I think I can, the red, acrylic paint is usually pretty opaque, so it shouldn't be too difficult to cover up the wood. So I'm going to mix flag red, cranberry, and maybe a tiny bit of barn red. I'm not 100% sure yet because I want it to be really bright. And then just black. So I'm going to turn this just a little bit because that's how I write, is like that. But I will try to keep whatever I'm painting in frame. So if that bothers you, that it's a little sideways, I apologize, but that's what's easiest for me. And it's a lot easier to just turn that for a minute than to attempt to set this camera up again. I'm going to dip my brush in the red. I'm going to try not to have too much excess on my brush, just for the sole purpose of like not wanting to make it gush out. Alright, so realistically, since I have 4 right here, I'm going to keep the letters just under 4 high. Like I'm going to stop it a little bit before that and a little bit before that. Alright, so what I'm going to do to try to keep my lines as straight as humanly possible, I'm just going to go over each line twice from both directions. Alright, and then I just need to touch that up a little bit. Alright, so there's the first line of my K. And when I do this, I'm trying to keep my lines as equally proportioned as possible. So I'm just kind of like pulling down at an angle. I kind of curved it a little. Alright, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start right here. And I'm just going to come down like this. And then, like I said, I'm going to flip, do my second coat like this. I'm just kind of go at an angle, and then I'm just going to smooth that out a little. Okay, so there's my K. I'm not entirely happy with that K. And again, it's not, we're human, it's not going to be perfect, but you know, we want it as perfect as we can get it as imperfect humans. Alright, so next, N. Okay, so before I do the one that crosses, I'm gonna actually go ahead and do the second bar. Alright, and then the O. Alright, so I guess I am going to go like this. And the center of the O is probably going to be very thin. I went a little too low. It's alright. If I go too low on the O, it's the only one that I absolutely can't extend, so that's fine. I just need to make sure I extend the rest of them to match. Yeah, that doesn't look perfect, but obviously we're going to go over it a second time and fix any little mistakes. Alright, that looks good. Now I'm gonna flip it and work on this end. Try not to leave any like swooshes behind on the letter. Alright, that is not ideal. I'm actually gonna try and hope that the wood is dry enough that I can kind of edit that O. What I'm doing is just putting a tiny little bit of water on my brush. And kind of cleaning that up. Again, once the paint underneath is perfectly dry, as long as you don't do this too much, it shouldn't take it up. But this paint, still being wet, should come up fairly easy if you need to edit it a little bit. And so I will wet my brush and I will wipe it, and then I'll dry my brush and wipe up any kind of excess water that's on there. Another reason why you should wait until your background is perfectly dry before you start lettering. I'm also going to do that to widen that a little bit. Once this dries, you know, you're pretty much done. You can't fix it. But that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to do my X. And so the X is going to be like that. I probably should have made everything else a little bit smaller. Or used a slightly smaller brush, but that's okay. Again, lettering is not my strongest suit. So, yeah. This is what we're stuck with. Oh, man. Alright, so then we're gonna go and end up right there. I should have just like backed it up all the way to the edge and given myself plenty of room. The only thing I can think is maybe try my editing again. Okay, so it's not perfect. I'm a little disappointed, but it'll be fine. I guess I should start like measuring out my letters and stuff. I don't know. Alright, so the next thing is making this buffalo plaid. Alright, so apparently my phone stopped recording at some point during the K. So I am going to hopefully get the whole N recorded, and then I think that's it. I think I'm just going to do the N. I'm not going to record the whole thing. Once I record the N, it should give you a pretty good idea of how to do it, and it should be fine. So here we go. Sorry if it didn't record any part of the K. So we're going to take a brush like this, dip it in our black, we're going to go halfway across and go like that. Okay. I'm going to turn it around and get the edges in a little while. Skip over a square, paint a square. Skip over a square, paint a square. And we're just going to keep doing this all the way down. And now I'm going to fast forward through all the squares. Okay, so what happened was my other couple of videos were too long and I haven't edited all this down yet, and my SD card is full, so now it's saving to internal memory. Great. Okay, so now I have more than 30 seconds at a time to record, so I will show you really quickly how to do this. Invisible wall, and then connect those. Invisible wall, invisible wall, invisible wall, invisible wall. Again, this is not going to be perfect. I did not use tape or anything like that. I'm just eyeballing it and painting. Invisible wall, invisible wall. I didn't wipe my brush off that time. So there you go, invisible wall there, invisible wall there. Invisible wall, invisible wall. Boop, boop. Alright, I'm just going to do a couple more, then I'm going to fast forward through the rest of it, and then the O and the X I'll do on my own.